Fabulous.
Yeah. So, Michael, you do these things all the time. So you're an old pro, and Laura, you're just pro everything. So this will work out.
Well, I'm glad you didn't say old.
No, pro, not old.
Okay.
We're not even going to explore that today.
Okay, good. So,
I want to give you each a welcome to Casual Fridays. It's awesome to have you both here joining me today. I was so surprised and delighted that you both accepted my invitation, and really looking forward to this all week. So thanks. I do want to give, I do want to give each of you a chance to say who you are, and then why did you accept my invitation? I'm always curious about that. So yeah, Laura, ladies first, please.
Cool, thanks, Adam. Well, my name is Laura Watson, and what I do for a living is business and leadership coaching. So I work with small business owners and executive leaders actually across North America, because things like Zoom and phone calls make that easy to do. And I've been up to that for about 15 years now. So I have lots of fun working with business leaders to get them to the next level of life and business, whatever that looks like for them. And I joined you today because I like hanging out with fun people. And you're a fun person.
You too, Laura.
So and what else did I do on a Friday morning?
Yes, and you're also a mom.
I am a mom. I've got two young adults. One is up in Grand Prairie who just got a job with the radio station up there. He's in photojournalism. I've got a beautiful daughter who's finishing up at U of L. She's doing a double degree program down there and will graduate in December. Yay!
Yay!
And then when I'm not coaching during the day, I'm ballroom dancing at night.
That's right. You are a dancing machine.
So
that's awesome, Laura. I'm so happy to have you here today. Thanks for accepting my invitation and being one of the fun people to hang out on a Friday. Love it, Mr. Palmer.
Mr. Joyce, glad to be here, and it was good to hear with Laura's background. Very nice to be part of that.
How about yourself?
Oh, myself.
Let's get to know Mike for a second.
Oh, darn. Serial entrepreneur since about 1999 in various, I spent a good degree of 23 years in the travel industry, from airlines to retail to ground transportation, owning that. And we had about 15 travel agencies before we sold out in 2003. And again, what do you do when you grow up again? So you keep reinventing yourself, pivoting and doing unique things. And I currently right now, one of my companies that I spend most of my time at is Innisol Health. Sol strips. I think we're all familiar with Listerine breast strips.
Yeah.
You freshen your breath. Well, we medicate that drug delivery technology known as oral thin film. It's simply like this. You place the strip on your tongue, dissolves within about 5 seconds, depending on the active, and the supplement gets into your system, your blood system, in 2 to 4 minutes. So it's
super cool.
Yeah, there's a big problem out there. About 23% of the world's population can't swallow pills, classified as dysphagic. And you can take that number up to 45% for those who just are pill fatigued. They don't want to swallow pills, but we don't have a choice in a lot of cases. But so we have our first 5 products that we're selling online on our store, pushing hard with our sales managers in the U.S. Internationally, we're in Venezuela, Vietnam, and other foreign countries that we're knocking down the doors. And we have another 5 actives that are ready to be packaged and branded. And we're looking at joint ventures with an Australian group that wants to take regular mushrooms, not psychedelics, but qualify that. But psychedelics would be okay too, I guess. And they've got about 5 to 6 different types of things like shiitake, reishi mushroom that they like to have on their system as a sublingual delivery, and we're a delivery through we call your buccal oral mucosa, and it's an 85% efficacy. So it's a first round pass of your GI tract and your liver. So that takes up a lot of my time. And as you know, Adam, I've been in the early stage startup, growth stage, angel investor, mentoring, advisory space for a long time. I sat on the National Angel Capital Organization board for a term, and it's great to help out entrepreneurs that help them fill in the blind spots, help them get an investor ready, help them raise capital. Sometimes you'll sit on their board or advisory board, and it's amazing the amount of great entrepreneurs out there and growing right across Canada, not just here in our own backyard in Alberta. So it's been fun. Love tennis, love golf, love cycling, love hiking, pretty much everything. And besides participating, of course, I love to watch when you have the opportunity to be able to do so. The world has changed, of course, going to big sports venues for the time being. They're trying to figure that out. I'm a lucky dad with Father's Day coming up. Best gift in the world. 2 beautiful daughters that are 20 and 17. One going into third-year university at University of British Columbia, Okanagan. And daughter number 2 is just graduating from Western High. Unfortunately, graduation ceremonies have been throwing a curveball at it, but they're making do and doing their best and having some fun. And she starts at UBC Okanagan in September as well, but the first term will be digital versus in classroom. So it's hopefully come January, they'll be indoors in regular classrooms, but they're both going to relocate out to Kelowna anyways and rent houses with their friends and do school digitally from Kelowna. So so that's my story, why I'm here.
Wow.
Dear old friend Adam Joyce, how could I refuse, you know?
Thank you, Mike. I appreciate your trust in me. And I know, man, given all the stuff you got going on, thanks for making time for us this morning. We love having you on, and we'll have some fun. What this week was the highlight of your week? Like, was there a highlight moment, something really fun, cool, exciting that you had this week? For me, I got connected to a guy in Amsterdam, actually thanks to you, Mike, and had this frickin' boom, eye-opening conversation about social capital. And it was like, wow. And he's found a way to apply it in business. So I was just, thank you for that, Mike, and Ronald, amazing guy. Amazing.
Yes.
So that was definitely a highlight this week for me.
Fantastic.
What are you guys?
Well, mine was not business related.
Oh, cool.
I got back in the ballroom.
You were dancing this week?
There were on Saturday night, with social distancing, and you stay in your bubble with your one partner. But I got back in the ballroom after, we'll see, March, April, May, 3.5 months
Wow.
of cold turkey, nothing. So I got back on the floor and got to actually move and spend some energy. So it felt awesome because I just felt alive again.
I bet the joy, the movement. How did it go? Did you find some rust, or did you just like pop back into it?
Well, as my dance coach says, when you feel rusty, you get lubricated. So, so I had a beverage and it was all good.
And we're back.
Exactly.
Well done, Laura. Well done. I could just see the joy and be there with you. So amazing. It's so great. How about you, Mike?
Probably a couple things, but having to play, as I call it, Uber Daddy, dropping off my oldest. She works at Earl's Bank of Salts for the time being, and going back and forth so you get to spend that quality time. And same thing with my youngest, getting her off to social distancing meet and greets. And so you get a great time to catch up. Love it. It's just we have lots of chuckles and laughs, and it's about them, not me. It's just neat to hear how their days went. And then secondly, kind of would be, I've got connected with this joint venture I told you about in business with a group of guys down under. These two guys set up the EO and YPO chapters down there a long time ago. That's how I got connected to these guys, and they're really cool, and they're the ones that are trying to put this joint venture together. And we were able to put our chief science officer together with theirs this week, and it looks like we can get their products on our technology. So that's exciting. Really exciting.
Wow. Yeah, that sounds like a really powerful step forward in business, and I totally get the Uber Daddy thing. Just being although I'm not required now, so they take the cars. They just take them. I've turned into nothing but a garage.
I love it.
Yeah, but it is a delight to watch them grow up and do things and just, take life by the horns. And we are also going through, Mike, the same thing with grad, right? And the celebration of grad, the end of high school. This is a strange time. And the creativity that these kids are coming up with, the parents are getting involved in, the different types of almost like mini ceremonies, because it's hard to accommodate, say, 300-400 kids, and you're not allowed to get that many people together. Yeah. But the inclusiveness and the groups and the imagination, super cool to watch some of that stuff unfold.
Absolutely. No, it's as much as it was anxiety for a lot, being kept in quarantine, if you want to call it that, for a while, and then finally getting out to do things. And as they're all said, I think this is how we all learn how to be creative, right? I think when times are challenging, I'll say, we've got speed bumps and road bumps and spitballs and curveballs. This younger generation of ours are pretty bright and brilliant, and we're in good hands, and hopefully our government's not leaving them with a financial mess, but they're making
tries to keep this fun and lighthearted, Mike. We're not going down that rabbit hole.
We're not talking about bills today.
Yeah, inner voice, outer voice,
How about you, Laura? With your two adult children, walking life right now, and some of the stuff they're creating and inventing for themselves. How's that going? Because you said you had one up in Edmonton.
Well, Grand Prairie.
So
our son graduated a year ago from SAIT in photojournalism and found a position right away with the newspaper up in Grand Prairie. So we got him moved up there, and he's been full on adulting for a whole year, paying his own rent and got himself a car loan and the whole bit. And then he kind of figured he'd learned what he had available to learn at the paper. And so now he's gotten himself a position at the local radio station. He'll be writing stories in the background and may even get some broadcast training.
Wow.
And our daughter, she's back, she's home here for the summer. She has her second summer internship actually with ATB. So super, super proud of her. Last year, there were about 1,500 applicants, and she was one of 200 who got positions with ATB. This year, she's working in their Brightside team and working on app development and marketing, bringing those apps to market, doing market research, all kinds of really cool and creative things, which is right in alignment with her education. And so it's really, and which is also sort of following in her father's footsteps. So we're having fascinating conversations at the dinner table in the evening about what it's like for a creative person to work with programmers and taking something abstract and making it minutely detailed.
Yeah. Wow. That must be great table conversation. Really, really great.
It's very cool. Yeah.
Very cool. Hey, speaking of as people get launched and this new generation taking the mantle, which I agree with you, Mike. I hope we hand them something they can work with. But are you seeing, you guys have both had the opportunity to work from home, and it sounds like there's a new work from home phenomena given corporates and what the pandemic had us see. What's been your experience, your thoughts, or conversation with the kids about this whole work from home phenomena? How do you relate to it, or how do your kids relate to it?
Question. I'll jump in there as well, but I of course, we've been used to working remotely for a while because what we do. Yeah. Our team's not only in Calgary and back in Ontario, but also down in the U.S. all over. So we're used to living on Zoom and GoToMeetings on a weekly update and collaborations, and especially with our chief science officers. On the home front, of course, we all know it's different. As much as they've got social media down to a fine art way better than we do, using technology, but now they're forced to use technology versus using it as their, having WhatsApp chats with their friends and TikToks and you name it. So I think it's a whole different world. And I think at first they probably had a lot of, is this what the world's going to look like for the rest of our lives? But now they realize we're going to have obviously have some kind of a hybrid. What does a new normalcy look like for them? And I think they're going to figure it out. And it is going to be a good combination of doing stuff from home, but also getting out there, because we're social people. We have to get out there. We need that personal contact and social interaction. So I think they realize when things settle down, there's going to be a bit of both worlds, that we're going to have the opportunity to work from home. And then when we need to get out there and have face-to-face, they're going to embrace that and really appreciate when they do have those experiences. So I think they're adjusting quite well, actually, but 3 months ago, not so well. So now things are starting to kind of, fall into place, even though we're far from this situation that we're in.
Yeah, interesting. Like, what are your thoughts, Laura? What are your experiences with yourself and the kids?
Yeah, I think the hybrid term is really accurate. I would say I've had a hybrid for many years now. I've been about 50-50. My Calgary clients, I tend to see in person, and I expected to be able to do that after everything settles down here. And then because I work with people across North America, that's been on phone and video already anyways. I am finding an interesting difference though. I'm a bit of an introvert, and our daughter, for example, very much an extrovert. So she's actually been struggling with this a little bit. She's home, she's doing the Zoom meetings. We've created a workspace for her, but she really misses being out and the water cooler chats. And I think she actually misses the free beer Fridays the most.
Me too.
But so she's adapting. I give her credit, actually. She's taken initiative to set up little coffee chats like this with her peers and colleagues inside of ATB, so she can start to network and form relationships in her workplace, which I think is great. But she's definitely expressed, again, at the dining room table, some challenges for herself around missing getting out. But I have also found, with my clients themselves, they've discovered that their teams and their people can be productive at home, because there was that worry or concern that, we'll let everybody work from home, they're just going to slough off and do nothing. And so I think that's been a welcome discovery, is that yes, people do actually want to work, they can be productive, and I think they're actually more productive when they're able to do work on their own terms and have that kind of flexibility, or that hybrid that we were talking about. So I think that's going to move forward in that way.
Yeah, it's interesting to speculate what's coming next, right? And this week I'd heard the term gig economy. Have you heard the term gig economy?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Referring to gig. At first I thought it was like a tech term, like a gigabyte, but it's actually gig, like a band does a gig.
Yeah, side gigs.
Contract. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so I started reading up about this, and then when I look at that collision of what the pandemic has accelerated, the work from home and the gig economy made up of contractors, freelancers, entrepreneurs, project work like that, I think we're in the midst of a transformation in terms of work life. It feels like it. Mm-hmm. You guys get that same sense? Because I kind of hear this word hybrid being thrown around, which is kind of like the bridge to where we're going in some ways. Are you getting a sense of that, or am I here? I could be. I'm off in a field by myself. So.
Well, that wouldn't be unusual.
Yeah, it's okay to say that. No, Joyce, I think you're out there again. You're just by yourself.
I'm glad Laura said that. I think. I think there is a transformation. Even Calgary Economic Development have been trying to do that work shift thing for a long time.
Right.
And even in the travel business, right? Business travel, as much as the travel industry is going to come back, but it's going to be different too. Do you want to be checking in for a business trip that you can do for a Zoom call? There's times you do have to get your colleagues together, of course, because that's all the important interaction that you need. But on some of the stuff that I wouldn't say unnecessary, but some of that you can do and save money And do you want to be taking 4 hours to check in for a flight now to get your temperature check, have your mask and things? So it's going to be we're all going to have to be patient. Is downtown Calgary going to look the same? As much as downtown Calgary has been pulverized with the oil and gas industry and space, people are realizing, do you want to spend 3 hours in your car, there and back, where you can be doing that from your home office and getting more done? Open techs have even gone further, and they're shutting down 2 offices because the staff in those 2 centers love working from home. They'll maybe come in once a week to collaborate and meet. So they're going to save money, but they're making sure that their staff are well, they're okay. Those who are not, they're going to work with those who need to be in the office and every day, 5 days a week or 6 days a week, and trying to work with those who are struggling with trying to work from that hybrid, that combination. So I think the world's going to look, I agree, it's transforming. It's going to be the hybrid like we talked about, and I think it's going to be interesting to watch it unfold and what companies do what. And there's no question, I think today's new entrepreneurs, they're ready for it. They've been ready for a long time, and they've been working that way in a lot of ways.
Interesting. Yeah. What do you think, Laura? As we dig deeper.
Yeah, I think it's going to carry on, and typically what happened, when you've got a pendulum swing a certain way to an extreme, which we've had during this pandemic, it's going to swing back and forth a little bit, and then we'll find a new center. And I did crisis work for a long time, and the motto inside crisis work is that every crisis is an opportunity. And I think that's what we're discovering, is there's all kinds of new opportunities opening up from this pandemic situation. And creativity is out of this world right now. How do we do things differently? It doesn't have to be the way it has been before. And in fact, I was just introduced to a virtual world recently.
Right, you shared that with me. That was cool.
Yeah, it's so cool. And I played around in it. It's a virtual conference center. So you have an avatar, you show up, there's a campus, you can wander around. So the day I was wandering around, the MBA was on campus hosting meetings. and they've got breakout rooms, meeting rooms, they've got auditoriums, and with just like the normal world, with big screens set up where you can have presentations happening and guest speakers. And in fact, I was doing a little tour of the world with another person, and she was talking about she was in there checking things out because the next day she was attending a convocation in this virtual world. So it's so there's all kinds of creative adaptation happening out there, and I think that if anything, this situation has just opened our minds to being more willing to look into that, whereas before we might have kind of poo-pooed it.
Yeah, interesting. Are you guys also finding in this, let's call it temporarily forced digital world, right? Because we've been forced into it, so it's accelerated. A couple of things. One, I use my Zoom more than my cell phone. Like, I don't actually have phone calls as much as I have Zoom calls all the time. Are you experiencing similar kind of ratios of, like, I'm on Zoom calls, I'm not hardly ever on phone calls now? Yeah?
I agree. Yeah, you're right. It's absolutely. You're taking over like GoToMeeting and Google Chat,
or a GoToMeeting or a Google Meeting or interesting. And so, how do you guys do your networking now? Have you found other mechanisms? One of the ones that's worked for me is LinkedIn. I have met a handful of people on LinkedIn that I've now developed relationships with. A couple are going to be on Casual Fridays. One's already been on Casual Fridays. I've never met them. I've never physically met them, but we've engaged in a relationship and found common projects that we're working on and common business philosophies, and got to enjoy each other. And there's like a relationship starting. It's like business video dating. It's and something I never thought would happen. How about you guys?
Well, it's much more efficient. And, we don't have to drive anywhere. We don't have to park anywhere. You jump on a Zoom call, meet somebody, have a conversation, and then move on to the next. One interesting dynamic that is showing up. The Zoom's great. I'm definitely using it more. And in fact, I'm part of a networking group, and we've all gone Zoom. 2 networking groups actually, and we're having meetings and with people across the country via Zoom. And one thing that people have to be mindful of is there's now an actual diagnosis called Zoom fatigue. And some people are finding it fatiguing, and find that they just get exhausted by doing this all day long. And so there has to be just some mindfulness around what works well for you. And if you find yourself getting fatigued, then you got to be able to give yourself a break from that as well, and maybe get back on the phone.
We have to limit screen time for adults too, Laura.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I'm going to take your screen away from you. You've been on it all day. Yeah, I get it. Totally. Well said. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree too. And you've heard the term lots, Zoom fatigue. And I find myself, you try to spread out your calls if you can, and then get out for a half-hour walk and stretch, get some fresh air, and enjoy that. You come back, re-energized. And but with one of the groups that I hang out with here, International Geo Generator, based out of Vancouver, he's been setting up Zoom calls all over the world in different huddles. So one of the groups that I'm on is the South Pacific one. So you've got people from Singapore, Melbourne, Sydney, Perth, Auckland, and Washington, Boston, New York. It's all these different time zones. I don't know how he gets sleep, because he's on these, hosting these to keep the interaction, because you can't have live events, so he's doing it great. And then people are meeting on that way, and then connecting on their own Zoom meetings or Google Chats afterwards, and seeing if they can, there's some synergy, or how can I help you? Can I connect you with somebody? It's actually so it's really being really well done. And as Laura said, the creativity has just been amazing. You're watching, you're seeing people's sense of humor coming back as well. And I think,
yes,
stop taking ourselves so seriously, even though there's a lot of serious stuff going on. But I think we just have to keep things lighthearted. Things are going to be better than before, but it's just going to take us a while to get through the murky waters, and let's have some fun doing it, and make sure we're working together, especially in Alberta. Let's forget about this north-south thing. Let's collaborate, work together, and especially in the life science and biotech and medtech, we got some great talent here to be able to, let's put the heads together and really, knock it out of the park.
Awesome idea, Mike. And speaking of fun, we've now reached that point in the program where I'm going to ask you guys a couple comparatives. You're only allowed to choose one.
Oh boy.
And you're not, and you're not allowed to rationalize. You're just like, it's a rapid fire kind of thing. So I'm going to give you, and then you're going to choose one. Don't worry, only the audience is judging and assessing your answer. I know. All right, so would you rather beer or wine?
Wine.
Wine.
Wine or cocktails?
Cocktails.
Depends what time of year it is.
No, Mike, you gotta choose. You gotta choose.
Follow the rules.
Follow the rules, Mike.
All right, I'll stick to vino.
Okay, coffee or tea?
Tea.
Coffee.
Toronto or New York?
New York.
New York.
New York or London?
London.
I'm with Laura on that one.
London or Paris?
London.
Paris.
Interesting. Sunshine and cold or cloudy and warm?
Sunshine and warm, or sunshine and cold.
I love the sunshine, but I like being warm, so I have to take the cloud and the warmth.
Yeah, that's a tough one, hey? Be on time or be all put together?
Be on time.
On time for us, our family, same way. We're on time freaks. We're the ones that check in 4 hours before flight time because we love it. Taking in the action, so we're always early.
I have a tell one, not on me. I'm an on-time guy, but my wife and daughters, it's not about being on time. It's about being fashionable, looking good. Would you rather go to the mountains or go to the beach?
Oh, beach.
I'm with that beach as well.
Okay. Would you rather go to an all-inclusive resort or a really great Airbnb VRBO?
Airbnb.
Resort for me. I like them all, but I like the resort and being when you're on vacation being spoiled.
Interesting. Awesome. And last one, would you rather work from home or work in an office?
Work from home.
Work from home as well.
Cool. Thanks, guys. Any last words that you'd like to leave our listeners and audience with in terms of a professional tip? Something just to, hey, as you travel down this road we call life and you're trying to get stuff happening in business, here's one thing I'd love to share with you.
Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other.
Nice, Laura.
Take this time to appreciate family and relationships. The world's not going anywhere. Things are open up, and there may be a new normal. But be clear about what's most important to you and take care of that.
Nice. How about you, Mike?
And probably along those same lines, I like gratitude and grateful. I journal every day to put those things that I'm grateful and gratifying, and which you're blessed for, but also keeping that entrepreneurial mindset, regardless if you're running just a business, like a public company or a private company, or you started your own. I say unstoppable mindset, unshakable mindset, and part of my expression is Vision from Mind Valley says that unfuckwithable attitude. It's not arrogance. It's just that you're going to find.
You're no messable, man. I love it. I love it. And on that, we will wrap it up. So thank you both. What a great Friday. Have a beautiful weekend. And yes, let's keep the faith in ourselves, in each other, and what's happening.
Well, and happy Father's Day to both of you. Enjoy your
Laura.
weekend.
Yeah, say hi to John for me.
Will do.
Okay. Bye, guys.
Bye. Take care.